Yo, what is up and what is going on? It's your boy Maki Dan, the historian, coming to you with a breaking news report for Democracy 101. Please smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're trying to run this channel up. We're trying to grow this channel, and we're trying to grow within the pro-democracy movement. So, breaking news. A federal judge orders Abrego Garcia's immediate release from ICE custody. This is huge news. For those of you who do not know or maybe need a little context on who Abrego Garcia is, Abrego Garcia is a El Salvadorian man who left El Salvador 15 years ago with his family when he was a teenager to come to the United States. They at the time they were fleeing gang violence within their locale. In 2019, the Trump administration tried to deport Abrego. A judge a judge barred his deportation, citing that he had credible fears that his life would be in danger if he was sent back to El Salvador. Well, this year, the Trump administration obviously coming in with a entirely new mindset and agenda towards immigration. They picked him up. ICE and Border Patrol agents picked him up in Maryland, where he was driving with his 5-year-old disabled son. They dragged him out of the car, and 3 days later, he was deported illegally to the country of El Salvador, where he was then housed at CCOT. So, and for those of you who don't know what the CCOT prison is, it is just a house of nightmares. Some of the human rights abuses have been documented and reported for years. We are going to touch on some of those abuses later today at 4:40 p.m. Eastern when we go live for Democracy 101. I encourage everybody to pull up. But Abrego, after they sent him to CCOT, there were his lawyers and his family sued the government, and this court battle went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 unanimously that his deportation, not only was it illegal, but that the government must facilitate his return to the United States of America. There was a big, falala, big hoopla from the Trump administration saying, we're not bringing him back. He's a criminal, this and that. There's no evidence that he's a criminal. They said he's a gang member, that he's a member of MS-13. They tried to say, well, he has these tattoos on his hand. They mean MS-13. Just total BS. But he was brought back eventually to the U.S., where he was then taken to Tennessee to face charges in federal court for, I believe, human trafficking and as well as smuggling and endangering a child. You can go ahead and read through that indictment if you want to. There is very little meat on that bone. The judge in that case even laughed at the attorneys for the government because there just was no meat on the bone. All of it stemmed from a body cam, from some body cam footage of Abrego. He was in a pretty large SUV, and I think there might have been 6 or 7 people in the car, and most of them didn't know English. Abrego at the time said that he was driving them to do jobs, said that he does construction. Now, I want to make clear, Abrego was not arrested at that time. He was let go. So the fact that they would try to bring an indictment based only on that, as well as hearsay testimony from quote-unquote co-conspirators. But the judge ordered him to be released pending his trial. After he was released and got to go home to Maryland, he was then picked up once again by ICE and Border Patrol. They then tried to deport him to Liberia, a country in West Africa, which, if you know anything about Liberia, it is a failed state. I don't need to go into detail. Just look up Bathroom Beach, Liberia, so you can get an idea of how bad it is over there in Liberia. But the Trump administration said, we ain't got no choice but to send him to Liberia, Judge. We got no choice. And their rationale was, they said, because, well, the only other country, since we can't send him to El Salvador, We tried to get Costa Rica to take him. They won't take him. So we want to send him to a failed state in Africa. And the judge dropped the gavel on them today because that turned out to be a load of BS. Because the judge, using reporting done by ABC News as well as other outlets, found that the Trump administration had never even asked Costa Rica if they would take him. So as a result of that, on top of all the other context I just laid out with the government and their political persecution against this man, the judge ordered Abrego to be released pending his immigration process so that he could have a fair and constitutional immigration process. This is great news. Obviously, he's not out of the woods yet. He still has to go to court, and there is still the possibility he could be deported in the future. But this is good news. I'm glad this man is safe and alive. I am glad he is getting to go home to his children and to his partner and to his parents. Okay? Because that, like, anytime I have conversations or had conversations about Abrego Garcia or about these people being illegally deported to CCOT, people would say things like, why do you care? They're illegals. Brother, they're human beings. You like we as Americans, and I'll say that America has never been perfect when it comes to the humane treatment of other people. It has never been perfect in that sense. But we try to aspire towards constitutionality, towards humanity. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in sending people to death camps. At least that's what I was taught growing up in the United States of America. We don't believe in dehumanizing people. Because this man was an illegal immigrant, he deserved to be sent to a death camp. Because this man is an illegal citizen, he deserved to be dragged out of his car with his 5-year-old disabled son terrified in the back seat. Like, as a country, when it comes to this immigration thing, now listen, if you're a criminal, and if they can prove that you're a criminal, I don't want you in this country. Okay? That don't mean you got to get sent to a death camp. So my whole thing is, if they want to deport people, or if they want to, or specifically in this case, if they want to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia, no problem. But do it in a constitutional and humane way. Like, that's my only thing with these people. And then, like, people keep telling me, oh, well, that'll take too long. Well, bro, I mean, look at all the time that's been wasted since March. You sent this man illegally to a death camp, and then you had to spend taxpayer dollars to fly him back to the U.S. So my thing with these people is, if you're going to do it the legal way. So you don't waste people's times. And so you don't put families through horrific and nightmarish experiences. I could not imagine. Like, my mother is from Grenada, and I'm not gonna use her as an example, but I'll just say I could not imagine if my brother was sent to a death camp where there's been reported cases of sexual abuse against detainees. I could not even imagine what would be going through my mind, like the level of worry and heartache that I would be dealing with. But once again, I am glad Kilmar is home. I'm glad he gets to go home to his children for the time being. And I'm glad that this judge, because by the way, this was also the judge that initially ordered him to be brought back. And then her ruling was appealed to the Supreme Court. I am glad that this judge, let me find this judge's name quickly. Excuse me. The Honorable Judge Paula Zenas. She is holding the line. She is holding the line of constitutionality right now, of what is legal and what you of what is legal and what you can and cannot do to another human being. The Constitution said, specifically the Fifth Amendment says that all persons are entitled to due process in this country. We are not China. We are not Israel. We are not Russia. We are not any of these authoritarian despot states where they literally control every lever of the political and legal process to go after their enemies and groups of people that they don't like. We are not none of those places. This is the United States of America. And I'll just end it off right there. But let me say this. Thank you to everybody pulling up on this video. Once again, please smash that like button. And if you're new, please subscribe. We are going to be going live later today for Democracy 101 at 4:40 p.m. Eastern. Please pull up. We're going to touch on some of the testimonies of the detainees that were sent to CCOT in El Salvador. We're also going to be touching on some other very important topics, so please pull up. And once again, man, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Peace.